6 district in the city council race. Stop. All right. All right, 5 seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1.
Good morning. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you, my pleasure.
We'll get right to it. Do you believe that parents and neighborhood residents should have a substantial influence in the demographics and density of the schools within their districts?
Absolutely, I do, and thanks for the question. Actually, what I want to do is I want to replicate what we do in small towns with a Board of Education in each borough, where parents have control instead of unelected bureaucrats. Parents have control over their child's future.
Will you commit to championing and fighting for neighborhood influence on the upcoming School District 30 rezoning process, equivalent to that which occurred in District 15?
Yes, I will. I'm not familiar with District 15, but what I am familiar with is the fact that parents are told that they are not smart enough to have control over their child's future, and I disagree with that. I want to bring it back to the parents.
Excellent. As you may know, the Dutch Hills community is a small fragment of Community Board 1. As well, Court Square, Long Island City is a small fragment of Community Board 2. Do you feel the Community Board system has done a good job of representing the needs and managing the development of these areas?
I don't think so, and I'll tell you why. I think that once money gets involved, you have things like rezoning and out-of-code zoning and out-of-as-of-right zoning, and it takes away the power and the influence from the local folks, and it gives it to unelected corporations that have the money to spend on it. So, no, I don't.
If elected, will you commit to meeting every month during your time in office with civic leaders from the Dutch Hills, Court Square, Long Island City areas to ensure that the unique needs of this part of your district are heard and addressed?
Absolutely, I do, and especially the local businesses, but everybody in the community. I think it's important for a representative to represent by understanding what needs are special to the community. You can't do that unless you meet with the folks that have the issue. So I will absolutely 100% commit to meeting with you every month.
As you may know, our outgoing city councilman, Jimmy Van Bramer, used $3 million of city funding to buy a piece of private property slated for development in Sunnyside, and used $2.5 million of city funding to turn it into a public park. Are you in favor of using public funding to purchase private property for public infrastructure use?
Well, what I do believe in is eminent domain, so it would depend on the facts and circumstances. Where there's an actual need for the community, we would spend our tax dollars to provide an actual service for the community. But if we're doing it for the purpose of just making some developer rich, no, I absolutely don't think that was the right thing to do. So that's my take on that. I think whenever you have a question, you can always refer to the Bible or the Constitution, and that's where you'll find your answers.
If the election were held today, who would be your first choice for mayor?
I don't want to really get into the mayoral race, but right now I'm thinking Curtis Lewa has a long history of supporting law and order, and what we need in the city is law and order. The Democrats have ceded order maintenance to the criminals, and the streets are very dangerous. I think Curtis has an insight into that. Mateo's a great guy, and you know he has some ideas that he wants to put forward. But I think what we need now is the experience to ensure that we put the funds back into NYPD so that they can do the job that they've always done. Great job.
Do you feel there is an adequate amount of green space within the western half of District 26?
I guess that would depend on how you define green space. If you're talking about trees, if you're talking about lawns and stuff like that.
Let's say parklands, public spaces, public for the use of the public to go and congregate or just escape the urbanism of the area.
Well, I think it's kind of hard to do in an urban area to escape the urbanism of the area. I think we have parks, maybe we need to spruce them up and plant greenery in the parks so that people can enjoy it and get the community involved so that it's taken care of and not, because you see a lot of these planters on the street, and nobody takes care of them, and it just becomes an eyesore.
Given the closure of the library within the Citibank building at Court Square and the opening of the Hunters Point Library on the waterfront, Do you feel the people of Long Island City Court Square are adequately served by the Queens Library System?
Well, anytime you take something away from somebody, no, they're not going to be adequately served. So I would think that we would want to keep the libraries open because they're valuable for kids. Kids can go to the library after school. Kids, low-income kids especially, can supplement their education in the libraries. So I'm in favor of opening libraries wherever we can.
Do you feel construction development projects are entitled to delay and or extend for years on end, regardless of their neighborhood impact, as long as those delays are considered legal by the city?
Well, there's moral and legal, and I think you should combine the two. I think the city does a very poor job of contracting in general, but there's deliverables, and when a contractor's not meeting their deliverables, they should be sanctioned. They should have to pay a fine.
Assuming the number and percentage of homeless people within our city stays at current levels, do you feel the number of hotel rooms within District 26 used to house the homeless should be increased, reduced, or maintained at current levels?
Well, I'm not a fan of warehousing people in hotels, number one. I think what you do is you address the root cause of homelessness within each individual, and you target a program where you can take care of them in a humane fashion. Some people need long-term care, institutionalized, and we've got to get back to doing what's right for everyone. Warehousing people in hotels is wrong.
Do you feel that the quality of life issues, such as public defecation, loitering, and littering, should be criminalized?
Well, they are crimes. So yes, absolutely. I think it's a crime to defecate in public, and it's a public health hazard. I think when you enforce the law, if you take care of broken windows policing, if you take care of the little things, the big things fall into play. When people see that they can do whatever they want, they do whatever they want. And that little stuff leads to petty crime, leads to larger crime. So yes, it's not that we're criminalizing it. It is a crime. It's a crime in every other jurisdiction in America, and it should remain such.
Thank you. Knowing that the full eradication of poverty within our district will most likely not occur within your first term of office, what, if any, criminal or civil action should be taken with regards to aggressive panhandling? For this question, we shall define aggressive panhandling as when a person vocally asks for money, follows, pesters, gets too close, or threatens another individual.
Well, if you have a threat, you have an assault, right? And that's punishable under the common law. I think, again, the document we refer to is the Constitution. So if you look at the Constitution, that type of harassment is punishable. And we should go back to the common law, and we should punish folks that unduly harass and assault others.
Marvin, thank you very much for joining us.
Thank you.